How did things go over the month of July, plus what's coming up on the channel and on my race calendar? Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather and I'm glad you are here today because it is time for the monthly update. This is where I take a look back at how training has gone over the last month. We look at any races or medals that I've acquired over the month, any new gear or equipment that I've tried out, and then what's coming up on my race calendar and for the channel, plus our monthly Spotify playlist drop. So we're going to start things off like we always do by taking a look back at the month in training. Welcome to July, and boy is it ever July, and by that I mean we have had excessive heat warnings for several days now. So I've been trying to get things in as early as I can in the morning while still considering the fact that I've got 2 kids at home that I'm taking care of. But even so, before sunrise it's over 80 degrees, so it's been a little bit of a challenge to get running in, but we are starting the month nice and strong. I was a little sore going into run this morning, but once I got started, felt pretty good. So I am on a nice short cool down walk here after doing my cool down run. Looks like I'm going to be doing a couple of speed training days, running some interval sessions. It's going to be slightly longer intervals than last week. At around 7 RPE with some recovery afterwards. I'm having to take the intensity down. It's not as fast as I would normally run, but it's just so hot. Paces are just coming down in order to help me cope. Occasionally I'll have to move it in on the treadmill, which is not ideal because the treadmill actually tracks me at almost 1/4 of a mile slower than I am running at the exact same effort outdoors. So not ideal, but if it keeps me safe, then that's what we got to do. I do have a couple of commitments coming up this week, so I'm going to have to fit a run in around those. Most likely have to wait until the afternoon and take it inside to the treadmill since it'll be over 100 degrees, but we'll make things work. So far so good. Nothing huge coming up on the calendar, just focusing on training this month and seeing what I can set up for my race calendar in the fall and winter. So I will catch up with you later. And we are back on week 3 of July. Now you may be wondering what happened to week 2. If you missed it, just click up here. I actually did an entire separate video just dedicated to one typical week of training, so you can get a look at what that is like for me when I don't have a race or a taper or something like that going on. So make sure you watch that. Today I'm looking at my week ahead, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit more of the same. We're going to do 3 easy runs and with strides at the ends, and 2 speed work days, one focusing on tempo and one that's going to be a ladder workout where the intervals get progressively longer and then they'll go shorter coming back down the ladder. So kind of practicing running fast short segments on tired legs at the end. So that's always a kind of a trip, so we'll see how that goes. Keeping up with the strength training, at least 5 minutes of core a few times a week, and then a couple of upper body exercises and 1 leg exercise workout. So mostly focusing on hydration because that is key right now with temperatures being way up. But other than that, looking at long run, I'm looking at a 2-hour long run. I don't know yet if that's going to be in the neighborhood, on the bike trail, if I'm going to go out to the trail, if it's going to be too hot and I'm going to have to bring it inside. So we're just going to have to see how that pans out at the end of the week. But I am going to finish off this workout, get some filming and editing and some research done for future videos. I'll catch up with you after the long run. And here we are in the last full week of July, and I am finally able to get back to kind of a regular running schedule so that I can do my speed sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays and allow my Fridays to be an easy run to get me ready for the long run on Saturday. Speaking of which, did a nice 2-hour run on Saturday morning. felt incredible, including my walking warm-up and cool down times. I ended up doing about 10 miles in that 2 hours. Felt great. And this week is going to be a little more of the same. So we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday easy runs with strength sessions afterwards. Tuesday, Thursday speed sessions, mostly looking at some fartleks and possibly some threshold intervals. So we're going to see how that all shakes down. And then I'm going to see what I can do on Saturday, as time is going to be really limited with a lot of stuff going on. I may have to treadmill it, which again, not ideal, but better than nothing. So that wraps things up for my July training. Let's take it back inside. And that brings us up to now at the end of the month. So looking at everything, I had to focus a whole lot more on just training. No trying to shift things around with taper and fitting races in and stuff like that. It was just straight training the entire way through, which was kind of nice to be able to focus on for the month. So I think the big lesson that I've taken away from this month is you really just kind of have to deal with what the weather throws at you. We have had just amazingly hot weather and the occasional thunderstorm with lightning. And so a lot of that would keep people indoors. I've tried to get outdoors as much as humanly possible and really try to push myself, but know where my limit is, because I don't want to suffer any kind of heat stroke or heat illness or anything like that. So being able to figure out where that line is, being able to stay consistent, to get on top of training, and to just focus on getting those miles in and that time on feet, and making sure that I'm getting good quality workouts in order to keep me ready for the races that are going to be coming up on my calendar. Long runs have slowly been getting just a little bit longer, and again, that is to keep me mostly in half marathon shape. However, I'm going to be looking at some even slightly longer long run sessions coming up soon, and we'll talk about that when we talk about what some upcoming races are. So there you go, a look back at how the month has gone as far as my training runs have gone. Now, looking at races and medals, there were no actual races this month, and perhaps that's all for the best, because it has just been unbearably hot outside, and I think a lot of people have kind of taken that into account and pulled back on the number of races that are available, because it's just not safe for a lot of people to be out there, especially if they are not accustomed to dealing with all of this heat and humidity. So no new races or medals to share. However, I am going to talk about some of the races that I do have coming up on my calendar. Coming up in August, I have the Scorchin' Squirrel. If you are a longtime viewer of the channel, then you realize that that is my very first ever trail race that I ran a couple of years ago, and I have run it consistently since then. Then this is one that takes place in Little Rock, actually just outside of Little Rock. It's on a campground, and it is using Jeep trails. So you go downhill, and then you can do either one loop for the 10K, 2 loops for the 11 miler, which is what I'm doing, or 3 loops for the 15 miler, and then back up the hill. It is almost straight up. It is one that I affectionately call the Beast, and it is a really rough uphill right there at the end. There are some fantastic aid stations, some wonderful volunteers. It's one that I look forward to every year, and so I'm really looking forward to getting out there and doing a trail race again. Coming up in September, I have not pulled the trigger on this yet. However, I am looking at doing a half marathon in Wichita Falls, Texas. This is a smaller kind of race, and so this is one that I'm looking at doing. I haven't set up the logistics up on that yet, so stay tuned to the channel so that you can get more information if that develops. In October, I am looking at doing the Creep and Crawl Half Marathon. This is a Halloween themed race. A lot of people will come in costume. This is part of the race series that is put on by the organizers of the Little Rock Marathon. They have several races throughout the year in addition to that marathon, and so this is their fall race that they put on. So this is one that I am registering for currently. And then in November, and this is a big one that I have not talked about to a whole lot of people yet, but I'm going to be attempting the Sunset challenge. This is going to be outside of Little Rock, and this is a 6, 12, and 24-hour race. And as very few women ever register for the 24-hour race, that is one that I am registering for, just to show more women that, you know, we should be out there doing this. It's however many loops that you want to do over the course of 24 hours, and this is going to be the day after Thanksgiving. It's going to be starting 8 o'clock at night, going until 8 o'clock the next night. So there's going to be quite a few people there that will be showing up later for the 6 and the 12 hour, but I'm attempting the full 24, and we're going to see what I'm able to accomplish with that. Moving on to new gear and equipment. In case you missed it, I'm going to have a link up here and down in the description where I tried to put together the most inexpensive racing kit that I could possibly do using only items that I could find on Temu. If you missed it, be sure to check that out. You're not going to want to miss that. I really had a lot of fun putting that together. I also did a review of this already on my channel, and I'm going to talk about it again. And this is the low carb vanilla cream protein powder by BioTrust. This is wonderful. I have been using this almost daily for the past few weeks, and it really has been doing a lot for my muscle recovery and just my overall health. This has been absolutely fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to trying some more products of theirs. I would love to try another flavor of this. I'm thinking the chocolate peanut butter is the one that I want to try next. They also have a collagen powder that I have ordered, and that should be getting here anytime, so I can be trying that out and letting you know what I think of that as well. And finally, we're going to talk about what we have coming up on the channel. Now, as usual, I'm going to be continuing the Run the USA series with looking at races in Nevada. So if you have run any races there, or if there's any that I need to know about, be sure to drop those down in the comments below so I can check them out. I also have some different reviews coming out. I've also had a lovely subscriber send a news article to me about a scientific study on different methods of staying cool during a run. So I've run some experiments with those. You're not going to want to miss that. I have had so much fun working on that one. I also have some more information coming up, especially for new runners, looking at things like what exactly heart rate training is, what training zones are, and of course, the race report for the Scorch and Squirrel Trail Run. That just about wraps things up for the month of July. I want to remind you that every month we have a Spotify playlist that I'm going to drop the link to down below in the description. Now, when I was trying to come up with something to put together for the playlist, because I like to keep it along the same type of theme, I asked my 10-year-old what he thought I should do a list about, and he told me to put together a list of chill tracks that I would listen to on a trail run. So that's exactly what I've done. So if you are going out on a trail run or a longer run and you just want some chill stuff to listen to, that's going to be in this month's Spotify playlist. I also have a link to Welcome to the Geek Den, which is a list put together of suggestions from all of you runners here in the Geek Den. If you have anything that you would like me to add to that, make sure you drop that down in the comments below. There's also a link to all of the tracks that I have used on all the playlists so far this year. That's going to be in the description as well. So there you go. That is the month of July. Thanks for spending another month with me. This is a reminder that if you haven't clicked that subscribe button down below, be sure to do it now. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it keeps you up to date on all the running adventures I'm having all the time. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description. You can find me across all platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Thanks so much for being here for another month. I can't wait to see you again. Remember to laugh hard, run fast, and be kind. I'll see you later.